Hey guys, this is Dr. Sangeeta and welcome back to another lecture of Dental Pathshala where we help you understand and learn dentistry better and easy way. And this video we are going to talk about the diseases of bone. So without further ado, let's get started. And welcome back to another 5 in 5 series where we cover each topic under 5 headings in 5 minutes. And today's topic is the fibrous dysplasia. So fibrous dysplasia is a condition wherein, as the name suggests, there is a dysplasia and that is the fibrous. So what happens? This is a disease of the bone. So the normal bone is replaced by abnormal fibrous connective tissue, which then again undergoes into the osseous metaplasia, and then eventually the bone which is formed is abnormal dense lamellar bone. So this is the fibrous dysplasia, wherein the normal bone, it is a fibro-osseous disorder wherein normal bone is replaced by the abnormal fibrous connective tissue. So what happens? The bone is now become the fibrous. So the bone is fibrous and there is very abnormal dense lamellar bone which is now present now. Talking about the types of fibrous dysplasia, we have two types, the monostotic and the polyostotic. So monostotic fibrous dysplasia is mono. As the name suggests, mono means one, poly means many. So if one bone is involved if single bone there is fibrous dysplasia, then it is monostotic. If there are more than two bones involved, then it is polyostotic. So it is depending on the number of the bone involving the fibrous dysplasia. So mostly the monostotic fibrous dysplasia occurs in more than 80 to 85% of the cases, and the bone involved in the monostotic is usually the maxillary bone, which is involved more than the mandibular bone. And in the polyostotic, we have skull, we have facial bones, clavicles, pelvic bone and the long bones also in the polyostotic fibrous dysplasia. So monostotic fibrous dysplasia, there is not much of pain, there is not pain which is concerned. So polyostotic fibrous dysplasia, as it is from P, so there is pain as well as there is pathological fracture which can also see in the case of a polyostotic fibrous dysplasia. So monostotic fibrous dysplasia is a slow enlarging, it is a painless swelling of either it is the jaw or it is maxilla. So it is very slow enlarging swelling. What happens in case of fibrous dysplasia? Usually the first sign of fibrous dysplasia in a child is when there is a facial asymmetry, when there is a marked swelling occurring at the cheek region. So because of the deformity of the orofacial structures, so because of that there is swelling, and because of that there is a facial asymmetry which occur. And when the mother or when any other, we can just see from the facial asymmetry, if it is coming increasing with the age, then that means it is going towards the fibrous dysplasia. There are also many other signs, like there is also expansion, distortion of cortical plates, disturbance. Also we can see the disturbance in tooth eruption pattern. There are many tooth fail to erupt in the oral cavity in case of fibrous dysplasia. And the monostotic fibrous dysplasia will never transform into polyostotic. So monostotic will always remain monostotic, polyostotic will always remain polyostotic fibrous dysplasia. Also when it affects the maxilla, then sometimes it goes into the maxillary sinus, and occasionally it can go into the orbital floor also. If mandible is involved, jawbone is involved, then mostly in the molar premolar area. So the monostotic fibrous dysplasia, when one bone is involved. Polyostotic fibrous dysplasia, we have got two subtypes, the Jefferies syndrome as well as the McCune-Albright syndrome. So Jaffe syndrome, we can say, or the other name is Jaffe-Leach-Ten syndrome. So this is a syndrome wherein there is a caffolute spots are there. So caffolute spots are when the milk is when there is a coffee in the when there is a milk along with the coffee. So that color, somewhere around light brown color, is we call the caffolute spot. So cafeolate spots are the spots which occur. These are the light brown pigmentation which affects the skin. There are spots on the neck, on the back, trunk, thighs. So all these area there are these brown, light brown color pigmentation, light brown color spots. So also we see these cafeolate spots in the other disease like von Recklo-Hansen disease. So all, see, like for example, if I talk about von Recklo-Hansen disease, now in this disease the border are smooth, but the specific feature of the Jeffel disease is that there are jagged periphery. So the periphery of these cafeolate spots are jagged borders. So you have to remember this, that if the borders are jagged, the borders, then that means that is a Jaffe. That means also if it is involving multiple bone, then it is the fibrous dysplasia. Also, the another one we have is the second one is when the fibrous dysplasia polyostotic is combined associated with the McCune-Albright syndrome. So McCune-Albright syndrome, we see that there is polyostotic fibrous dysplasia. Also we see there are cafeolate spots. So cafeolate spots, as well as there are multiple endocrinopathies. So we can see multiple endocrinopathies like precocious puberty in the females, like pituitary adenoma, acromegaly. Then we see goiter, Cushing syndrome, hyperthyroidism. So all these things we see. Precocious puberty in the Albright syndrome we see in the very young woman. So there is premature vaginal bleeding, and you will not believe it that at the age of 2 to 3 years there is the development of the breast, or the pubic hair start growing, the axillary hair start growing. So all these changes we can see. Also there is a multiple bone involvement. In the radiograph we see the classical ground glass appearance, or the orange peel appearance, or the pebble appearance of the bone. And now this is the most common, ground glass appearance is the most common appearance we see in the fibrous dysplasia. So you have to remember this. Initially there are this radiolucent area, and later on this appearance is the classical appearance of fibrous dysplasia. Histopathologically we see that within the fibrous trauma there are multiple fibroblasts. Now these fibroblasts are arranged in the walled pattern. So also we see that there are multiple irregular trabeculae of the immature bone which are distributed, which are present within the fibrous tissue. So these immature trabeculae are producing a typical pattern like the Chinese letter. So there is the Chinese letter pattern we see in case of fibrous dysplasia. So guys, this is a self-limiting disease, right? So this is about the fibrous dysplasia. Hope you have enjoyed the video. So if you have liked the video, give a thumbs up. Also you can comment in the comment section below. There is a link in the description box below to support me on Paytm as well as on PayPal to make free videos for you guys and to make free notes. So till then, keep reading, keep learning, stay motivated. I'll see you soon in the next video.